Hello, my name is Miss.Lopez and this is my FOA. When one thinks of gender and sexuality, one might think how each gender is brought up differently. In the poems Human Sexuality and 10 Responses to the Phrase Man Up show different perspectives on how society wants children to be raised. I will start by reading the poem Human Sexuality and analyzing it. When a girl loses her virginity, why do we act like she lost her dignity? The very fact that we say she lost something seems to suggest that by having sex her value is somehow less. But then in every store, window, and magazine, we see scantily dressed beauty queens. How is it then that sex sells but is shameful too? Girls grow up deciding which side of the double-edged sword they will give into. On one hand, women should be pure and poised, but we're also supposed to be mindless sex toys. She gotta put out if she wants to wear a short skirt, otherwise she's just a tease and a flirt. And if she stands her ground and says she's not in the mood, everyone will say she's just being a prude. A guy, the man, the more chicks he can score, and if a girl did the same, you call her a whore. With all these double standards, I have to ask, why is a woman's entire identity seemingly defined by just her sexuality? Not only that, it is a burden for girls to carry. They learn far too young that the world can be scary. We begin to equate sex and men with hate in the world that teaches us not to get raped. Girls arm themselves with whistles and mace, and what does this say about the human race? We dehumanize women by making them toys to be played with. And if they don't want to give it up, men will just take it. After all, they have uncontrollable desires that must be met, or at least that's what our society's mindset. By portraying them as animals, we also dehumanize men. Toys and animals was left of humanity then. Maybe, just maybe, our vision is clouded, because sex is where our reality is grounded. Yes, our sexuality is a big part of who we are, but we've taken that and gone too far. We made it define us as a good person or bad. This limits us so much, it's actually sad. People have sex, some more than others. Why use this fact to scorn one another? I'm not saying that everyone should go sleep around, or maybe that they shouldn't. All I'm saying is that our obsession with sexuality is starting to diminish humanity. The poem is a perspective from a female. As we see in lines 20 and 21, she's relating to the fact that females are being taught from a young age that men are evil people. Another thing that she refers to that society wants little girls to know from a young age is how virginity is an important part of them. And if they lose their virginity before they're married, they are somehow worth less, or somehow not as good as they once were. But women shouldn't be scrutinized for losing their virginity, because it contradicts with how males don't get disciplined for losing their virginity before marriage. And the reason why I say before marriage is because in cultures and in a lot of religions, it's a factor that you have to wait until you're married to lose your virginity. And it's mostly applied to females, because for males, somehow society believes it's not as a big deal as females. Another thing that this poem points out about how society wants females to grow up is how they want them to be toys, the way that she refers to it. And what this means is that society wants girls to grow up as objects, as background noise, just standing there and being pretty and doing chores and all the domestic work that's needed. And this shouldn't be a thing, because females are so much more than that. We can do the same things that males can. We are strong and we are smart, and we shouldn't be held back because we are built differently from a man. The author uses words such as brood, score, and whore to appeal not only to young generations but older generations, trying to make a point that these words shouldn't be used towards females, because these are scrutinizing words that make females feel bad about them. It makes them feel worthless, like if they don't have a place in this society. Not only does she talk about female stands in society, but she also talks about how males are seen as animals, as savages. That's the way she's describing it, because females females are taught from a young age that they can take what they want at any time. And males are taught at a young age that they're stronger than females, which applies to the fact that they take what they want from females because they believe that by standards of society that they are stronger and they are smarter and they're faster and so on. And last but not least, the fear that females are taught from a young age, which I can relate to because my mom, from a very, very young age, she taught me how I shouldn't let anybody touch me in certain places because it's not okay. And mostly when she talked about this, she didn't say older women would touch me. She would mostly say older men or just males in general. Because what she would say to me is that the only thing on their mind and in their mentality is sex. And the reason being is because men have that reputation that they can take what they want, that they can do what they want, that no one's going to take the word of a woman. Moving on to the next poem, 10 responses to the phrase man up. 1. Fuck you. 2. If you want to question my
masculinity,
like full of curses, like a sword fight with a lightsaber erection, save your breath, because contrary to what you may believe, not every problem can be solved by growing a pair. You can't arm wrestle your way out of a chemical depression. The CEO of the company that just laid you off doesn't care how much you bench, and I promise there is no light beer in the universe full-bodied enough to make you love yourself. Man up. Oh, is that a new superhero, right? Mild-mannered supplement salesman Mark Manstrong says the magic words man up and then transforms into the 5 o'clock shadow, the massive muscle, deep voice, leather duster wearing Superman who defends the world from, I don't know, feelings. 4. Of course, why fight to remove our chains when we simply compare their lengths? Why step outside the box when the box has these badass flames decals on it? We men are cigarettes, dangerous and poisonous and stupid. 5. You ever notice that nobody ever says woman up? They just imply it because women are women, and the women's movement figured out a long time ago that being directly ordered around by commercial magazines and music is dehumanizing. When will men figure that out? 6. The phrase man up suggests that competence. 6. The phrase man up suggests that competence and perseverance are uniquely masculine traits that women, not to mention any man who doesn't eat steak, drives a pickup truck, has lots of sex with women, are nothing more than a background character, comic relief props. More than anything, though, I suggest that to be yourself, whether you wear skinny jeans, listen to Lady Gaga, rock a little eyeliner, drink some other brand of light beer, or write poetry will cost you. 7. How many boys have to kill themselves before the country acknowledges this problem? How many women have to be assaulted? How many trans people have to be murdered? We teach boys how to wear their skin, but we also teach them how to raise that skin like a flag and draw blood for it. 8. Boy babies get blue socks. Girl babies get pink socks. What about purple? What about orange, yellow, turquoise, cerulean, black, tie-dye, buffalo plaid, rainbow? 9. I want to be free to express myself. Man up. I want to have meaningful emotion relationships with my brothers. Man up. I want to be weak sometimes. Man up. I want to be strong in the way it isn't about physical power or dominance. Man up. I want to talk to my son about something other than sports. Man up. I want to be who I am. Man. No. Okay. One thing that I greatly noticed about this poem is how it talks a lot about how boys can't show their feelings. How society has taught males from a young age that they cannot show their feelings. And I see that in my culture. How little boys are told when they start crying, are you a girl? Why are you crying like a girl? Why? Are you a little girl? And this frustrates me because boys should be allowed to express their feelings. Males should be able to express their feelings in the way females do and not be seen as feminine. They shouldn't just be able to express their emotions physically, but they should be able to express emotions in other ways, through other things. Another thing I noticed is social standards about how males are supposed to look. They're supposed to be muscular and have a deep voice and wear male things. That is shown in Stanza 3 when he talks about the superhero. In Stanza 5, it was greatly powerful the way the author brought up how males are also discriminated against in commercials, magazines, and music. And it is true, males in music are portrayed as animals and as vicious creatures that are only after one thing. Magazines, they portray men to look a certain way to be able to be accepted in society. Another thing that he pointed out is how genders are put in a box since they're little. In Stanza 8, he said, boy babies get blue socks, girl babies get pink socks. What about purple? And this shows how girls are told since they're babies that they have to wear certain things. They have to be certain things. They have to like certain things, like dolls. They have to be into pink, into feminine colors, and males have to be into sports and action figures, and they can't like the same thing as girls. They can't show feelings like girls. And if they do any of the things that are seen as feminine, that would automatically make them gay somehow or make them feminine like, which then they are discriminated against and being put down for. The reason in the poem he mentions that boys kill themselves in the country is because boys feel like they don't live up to the
masculinity
standards that society has put for them. In the end, these poems tie together because we have to live up to these standards that scrutinize us, but we can change that. We as younger generations that will have kids eventually, we can teach them that they don't have to live up to this, that boys can wear skirts and they can wear makeup, they can do whatever they want, they can be themselves, and girls, if they want to play sports, they can, and if they don't want to play with dolls and they don't want to wear pink and they don't want to wear bows or dresses, it's okay. We don't have to put them in these boxes anymore. We are a moving society that's changing for the best.